Hello, all my Calcarn friends. You caught me sitting crisscross applesauce in our chamomile patch here. Proof positive that we're not just growing carnivorous plants, we also grow this mountain of chamomile. On accident, but who cares? Here it is, and it's super beautiful. We're in the smack dab middle of summer now, and we've all been working really hard to keep our plants looking good for moments like this. And I think it's really important to remember to appreciate all the hard work that we put in to make our plants look nice, and just go out and look at them and appreciate the fruits of our labors. I feel like that's such a satisfying thing, and so much of my joy about working with these plants is all the nice things that you do, all the hard work that you do literally turns into beautiful flowers or carnivorous straps. Another thing I wanted to talk about and unwrap here today is this. We got this in the mail in between this time and last time. And Shopify literally sends out this like chonky dumbbell. I think it's a shopping bag. It's real heavy. You could kill somebody with this thing. And a little wiping cloth for keeping it clean, which is important to us here at this nursery. It isn't. It'll be covered in dust in no time, I'm sure, unless I keep it in this box. But 100,000 orders we've done. Daniela just looked it up, and what was it, 2009?
2016.
2016, 9 years ago, is when we switched to Shopify. So 100,000 orders in that time. And of course, this is as much a measure of your support as it is our success. So thank you for all the orders that you guys place with us all the time. And such a major accomplishment. I really can't believe it, honestly. That's a lot of plants to put in boxes. It's been kind of a herky-jerky month for us here, I have to say. Here and there, it's just been so crazy. But this is going to be deep astrology for those of you that follow astrology at all. Not that we live and die our entire lives by it here, and I wouldn't even, not like it's science fact. But Mercury's been retrograde the last couple of weeks. For those of you who don't know, that's when Mercury appears to be moving backwards in the sky. And generally that means like just all kinds of trouble with travel and computers and messaging and talking, and basically everything that we do. And I'm a double Gemini. Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising, Capricorn Moon, if you wanted to know for my dating profile. But because I'm a double Gemini and Mercury rules Gemini, it always makes the nursery super higgledy-piggledy and crazy. But we've learned just to float with the struggles, and the whole world's higgledy-piggledy right now, honestly. So just remember, there's nothing we can do about the challenges that pop up. I just try to center myself, take a deep breath, and, roll with those punches, because that's all we can really do is roll with the rhythm of life and solve the problems as they come up. And that's what we've been doing here. It's been a little bit trickier because although I never get sick, of course, when Mercury is in retrograde, I finally caught one of these summer colds that's going around. Daniela's been sick. Jesus has been sick. Sean's been sick. Literally, we've been like the revolving door of sickness. We're still getting those orders out. We're still taking care of all these plants, but it definitely slows us down a little bit. But that's okay, because it just gives us more time to appreciate the beauty in life. Today we're going to look around and see how all the plants are looking now in the middle of summer. We're finally starting to get some heat. I think it's almost going to be 90 degrees here today. We've had a blessedly cool summer here. I'm sorry for all of you who haven't. I know it's been a hot summer for a lot of other people out there, but here we've been almost, I don't want to say I want to complain about how cool it's been, because it has been nice, but it's nice to have a couple hot days to go swim in the river and do things like that. Anyways, we're going to go look around right now. I'm sure we're sick of looking at this chamomile, although it is so cute and pretty, and go look and see what all the carnivorous plants are doing right now on the farm. Now I want to talk about your don't freak out of the month. That's something I say all the time. And before I go on to it even a little bit more, I wanted to delve a little bit deeper. The other thing I say all the time is don't freak out about freaking out. Because I've noticed in myself and in the other humans around me, once we kind of freak out about something, then we're freaking out about freaking out. Like, oh God, I shouldn't have done that. And why am I feeling this way? And that's how we spiral into panic. And, it's best to not freak out about freaking out. That's the only thing we can do to stop that. And one of the things I want you to stop freaking out about is how your Sarracenia are starting to look now. And I'm just going to show a few things that are happening. This is like one of the best collections of flavas in the world. We have so many different site locations, fancy cultivars, individually seed-grown things here. And en masse, you look at these, and they're all so super beautiful. except for that weed right there. Yeah. Always pulling weeds, but so super beautiful. But if you start to look really closely, you'll start to see little things. And I often joke, you know, when people, overthinkers or people who are looking at their plants too closely, like, do you know what? On the left-hand side of the third picture on the second Tuesday of the month, there's a brown spot where that vein forks. And I will often joke, well, your problem is that you're looking at your plants like this, and you need to look at your plants like this. And you can see all the beauty when you look far away. And I would advise looking at yourself the same way. Because we're all staring in the mirror looking at every pore, and that's ridiculous. Everyone's doing that to themselves, and nobody has time to even look at the other people. But back to flavas for a second. See how this one's looking all kind of sooty on top? I mean, it's not the hottest look in the entire world, but it's not thrips. It's not a problem. Sometimes things are unsightly, but not a problem. What you're seeing here is the nectar that lures in the bugs. That's just sugar. And if you sprinkled a bunch of sugar outside and left it in the cool mornings and the hot sun, guess what? That sugar is going to mold. It doesn't interfere with them catching bugs. It makes them look a little rougher. But if you went and saw them in the wild right now, you would see the exact same things. Another thing not to freak out about, that's all over. This is Flava Bob Hanrahan. It's such a famous, beautiful regale. Look at all those red spots. Ah! Those are just nectar burn. Stop it. Stop looking at the red spots. In fact, they're kind of pretty in a way. And even when the pictures turn brown, they're kind of pretty in a way. And it's equally important to find the beauty in, you know, verdant new growth. And also there is a beauty to the closing of the seasons and to brown patches. And sometimes there are just really, I'll come out here when they're all dormant and they'll be just elegant forms all mixed together. And sometimes that's really beautiful too. Birth is beautiful, death is beautiful. That's the cycle of life. And you'll be happiest if you learn to appreciate all aspects. So don't freak out about nectar burn. Don't freak out about moldy nectar either. And don't freak out about this. Oh my God, look at, there's a brown patch. That's okay too. Something to talk about is all these pictures came up in March, and there are still new pictures coming up to look fresh. Here's one right here that just opened, and here's another one on the way. So they're not done growing, but the older pictures that came up early in the spring, some of those might be headed towards being done. And again, that's okay. If you're a crazy Virgo, feel free to cut them off. We like to trim them when they get really bad. You can trim them right at the base to get rid of them. It's your plant, so it doesn't matter. If you want to cut the top off just to get that brown top out of the way, you can. That will allow it to keep absorbing nutrition, which is better. And the truth of it all is, nobody trims these things in the wild. Nobody's staring at nectar burn spots in the wild. That's a people thing. The plants don't care. The bugs that are getting caught super don't care. And that's just the way they look. So don't freak out about that. And try to enjoy them in all their different phases. That'll keep life happier anyways. Now that we've checked all that, I want to take a look at a couple of my favorite plants and how they're looking right now too. One of my favorite plants, and now has such a insanely deep sentimental meaning as well, is Sarracenia Peter D'Amato. This is a cross that I made, I think 4 or 5 years ago only. It has a lot of Rubra albumensis in it. It has a lot of Luke in it. And because of that, it sent up some nice pictures in the spring. Mostly these kind of nice little older ones. But it's just getting ready to send up its really best pictures now. You can see lots of them ballooning up in between. One of the things I love about this plant is it's so bushy. It's such a bushy plant, you can hardly see into it. Of course, it has these amazing white lids, black veination throughout the white, which is so hard to pull off in hybridizing. The red undersides will become totally dark red, and this bulge in the throat, which is something that I've bred for years, taken decades to get going, and I super love that feature. And just this look of this plant is such a calcarn daemon plant. And every time I look at it now, I think of Peter, of course, and we've crossed it with numerous things this year. So in the ever quest of making more beautiful, more interesting things, I can't wait to see what comes next. Another sibling of this plant that I love so much, this one I'm calling Chanticleer, which was a rooster name, because because it just looks so roosterish to me. You can see it's similar. It has a lot of the, it's got the white backing, but this one's just so pink, so ruffly, and it really reminds me of a rooster's comb, and it's kind of cocky look to it. When you're breeding Sarracenia just right, you can look at them and go like, oh, that has a little personality. And Egg Eater is just getting started behind it. That's kind of a crooked mouth, but you can see that one's opening up okay. Egg Eater is another sibling. When it really gets going here, its best pictures will be late summer. Giant, big, huge bulge in the throat, tall plant. Obviously Egg Eater because it looks like it ate a big giant egg. All those are siblings. Even this little pink one down here is a sibling too, just getting ready to go. And so that's what a lot of the fun thing is, planting a hybrid across the seeds and seeing all the grand diversity that comes up. Marching further down, there's some other neat things in here. This is a sit cross that just looks so toadish to me. It has this kind of bumpy, toady skin, super wide open mouth, and just kind of a short, strange, chody looking little plant. Look at that little guy. It literally looks like a little cute Disney character. I'm super loving that plant and everything it's doing. This here is a Leucophila bris Micheliana, and this is my quest to make lidless Michelianas and kind of Judith Hindle type plants, which we should have, I think, as early as next year. I'm excited for that. I know lots of you hate lidless, or some of you do, but anything new is exciting to me, and I've done this a long time, so we're always looking for new things to be interested in. There's some other, this is Skywatcher by Pert Burkeye. A baby, but look how great that is. I think as that gets bigger, that's just going to be more and more special. There's another weed. I always pull weeds when you see them, because one of the things I've learned over the years, nobody likes pulling weeds. But over the years, I've noticed that if I wait till I come back to see this weed, it'll probably be dropping 10,000 seeds, and guess what? That means you're going to be pulling 10,000 weeds next time, or repotting the whole area. So when you see a weed, pull it. I know we don't want to, but just do it. Anyways, we don't have time to pull all the weeds in here, but if you grab one, see it. I think it might be fun to go check out some other plants. Maybe we'll go see what's going on with the Nepenthes in the greenhouse, since they're starting to really turn around and look cool. Here I am amongst our Highland Nepenthes, but before I go into that, I just want to give a quick shout out from all of the team here at California Carnivores to Jordan. I know you're cuddling with your husband and watching these videos after you got the kids to sleep, and I know that because on your last order, you put the sweetest note under notes. I know lots of you guys place orders with us, but maybe you haven't noticed, there's a little field called notes, and you can write whatever you want. And I'm sure sometimes people think that's just like yelling into the void, but we're actually a really small, close-knit team. And we have a group chat on our text that we all share, pictures of our cats, cool plants that we see, frogs, things like that. Normal things that people talk about with their friends. But when we get really sweet notes like that, the mail order crew will always take a picture of that and put it up on our group chat so that we can all feel the appreciation, because we're not open to the public anymore. Sometimes for us, it's kind of easy to forget that there is joy and happiness on the other side of all these boxes. We don't really forget that, but I guess what we forget is how much people appreciate us. And so if you love the last few plants that you got, like Jordan did, she's just getting into Venus flytrap. She's definitely caught the bug, and she just wanted to tell us that, guess what? She's noticed that her plants, the plants that she gets from us, are better than from everybody else's. Oh my God, what? Anyways, if you guys feel the same way too, make sure you leave a really cute note in there, and we'll spread it all around, and maybe you'll get a shout out from us too in one of these check-in videos. Who knows? Anyways, back to Nepenthes. There's a lot of Nepenthes in here. They've just been through 3 moves, because they had to go to an interim greenhouse, and then they had to get moved out of there. 2 moves, I guess. No, 3. 2. Anyways, they've moved a lot, just like me. And now that they're really in our happy greenhouse, they can start to really make cool, big pictures. This is Truncata by Ovata. And they're all flowering lots too. This is a flower right here. For those of you who haven't grown Nepenthes, their flowers are extremely boring. These are modified leaves, so beautiful, but their flowers a little bit smelly and a little bit boring, but that's okay. Yeah, so even this old Ventricosa, this was one of my first plants when I was 14, believe it or not. So that's a 30-year-old Ventricosa. And it's interesting, the plant size doesn't always necessarily equate age, because I've chopped that back for the move, and so sometimes it's hard to tell. This is one of our big eddies. It's really starting to settle in. The other eddy here is a little bit more settled in. It's got nice big pictures. It's flowering again for us already. Anyone who has really cool Nepenthes females is looking for eddy pollen and almost always have it. And of course, this lowi. This lowi here is 25 years old. It's in that, I don't know, probably a 5-gallon, 10-gallon pot over there. And this one came from my personal collection. It's starting to really put on tons and tons of pictures. I'll lean in. Look at this one right here. Jeez. So amazing. And that white exudate that lures in the tree shrews for them to poop into the pictures in the wild. That's what that is. Yeah, all kinds of really great things. Here, Daniela, you cruise around the other side. I'll come over here. We've got these all on clothing racks for now, which is like a big space saver. We're still kind of rearranging things. But check this guy out here. This is a Densiflora by Rob Cantley. I've always super loved this cross. It's huge, crazy big pictures, super spectacular. I don't know. I think that's a Peter D'Amato picture looking really big and perfect. Oh, another cool thing is this Macrophylla here. It's just starting to picture and look really happy here again. Nice big pictures. But it's also flowering, and it's female, and I have Macrophylla pollen in the fridge. So 90% sure, if everything goes all right, that we're gonna make pure Macrophylla seeds and some other really cool things. Don't bump your head on all the other low-eyes. We have 7 low-eyes here making upper pictures, which the fastest I've ever done it is 15 years. Some of them it took 20 years. Over there, there's this huge cluster of low-eye lowers on that bush of a low-eye over there. And then I wanted to stop over and look at Nepenthes gobstopper. That's my variegated creation. It just opened up this new beautiful pink and white picture with the 50-50 lid again. So spectacular. And this new leaf is almost entirely white, which is so special. And as you can see, flowering. And we're making crosses with that. A lot of controversy on whether the variegation will pass through, but I'm definitely going to try and find out. I think some of it probably will. So I'm making crosses with that already. These are beautiful undulatifolia pictures. They're so cute and tubby. Anyways, they're starting to look pretty darn good. The Truncata lowi is just opened up another beast of a picture. Gosh. Daniela just shared our very first YouTube video, which is when this plant caught a mouse and we dumped it out to see all the little, half-digested bones. I think that was almost 10 years ago, but I have to say, I was like, oh, wow. A lot of gray hair since then, friend.
And Sam's 14 now.
Yeah, Sam's 14, from a little awkward standing in the corner 4-year-old to an awkward standing over here 14-year-old. Yeah, and I've accumulated an insane amount of gray hair since then. I still have some brown ones left, but not too many. Yeah, so that's looking really good. Got glandulifera here, nice big lowers, nice big uppers. This wavy leaf maxima, this is an interesting thing to look at. This maxima is so beautiful, like it has this crinkly waved petiole, not leaf, but petiole. And I remember when we first found out about these, how I was just like, oh my God, we have to have one of those. But what's interesting about this plant is you can see it's been making these gorgeous green lower pitchers. And then all of a sudden, it's gonna start vining and making upper pitchers. And look at that transition. It went from having little 1/2-inch nodes to like 3-4-inch nodes. And that's all just happened, I'd say, in like the last month or so. So if your windowsill Nepenthes or your terrarium Nepenthes has started to just like shoot up, like I'm a vine now. Guess what? I'm a vine now. That's what's going on there. Don't freak out about that either. And then they'll make completely different new kind of upper pitchers. Oh, here's another spectacular thing. This is Nepenthes rigidifolia. It needs a trim, but look at that nice new big pitcher. Functionally extinct in the wild. Maybe there's a second spot that we probably shouldn't even talk about, honestly, because it's been poached out of existence. And what's interesting about this is the brown peristome, and this is a lower pitcher, totally wingless lower pitchers always. There's another one you can see. Oh, it's a little, barely a wing. Don't look at that. And the heliophora are looking pretty great too. They're still on the ground, so we still have progress here. I recently saw this meme that was like, build the thing first and then make it good. And that's really what has to happen. You can't let perfect be the enemy of good. And that's something I'm always reminding myself of here is perfect can happen later. But right now, our Helianthera are on the ground and still looking super spectacular. This is Tatai by Heterodoxa Cavena Yen, which two of the giantest Helianthera and a baby. So I think this will probably get like at least twice as tall. There's a huge Tatai by Folliculata and like a 10-gallon pot over there that's looking really spectacular and giant. And they're just really starting to get that nice look, nice big nectar spoons, and settle in to be really, really happy in their forever home, just like the rest of us here. We've also gone through all of our Venus flytraps from last year and decided which are the really super great ones that will be getting names and which are the ones that will probably get sold as typicals. But this one that Danielle is focusing on right now is probably the most special Venus flytrap that we've made so far. We've talked about it a little bit and people have made suggestions on what to call it. And we're actually going to go with Beetlejuice. Not the movie because we're not infringing on any copyright laws, but Beetlejuice the star. The special about this is the parentage is Witchy Baby by Winemouth. And so these are babies, but we expect it to get just as big as Witchy Baby, which is our biggest, most impressive Venus flytrap that we grow. One that we made here, a name for Allison's son, believe it or not. It's a long story, but Witchy Baby. And it also has some of the blackest interiors of any plant that we've ever grown. Some of the older traps just go so crazy, glossy, black patent black inside. The iPhones are always trying to brighten things up, and so it's really hard to capture in video or even on our cameras, but if you see it in person, you would be amazed at how dark black the interiors are. And the eyelashes are really long, although Winemouth is like, you know, equally dark. Or almost equally dark. It does have short, little truncated eyelashes, which are cool, but this one I think is just going to be huge, black interiors. We do have this in tissue culture, and although it is a slow roll, I expect to have some of these for sale probably next year around this time. But put Beetlejuice on your want list right now. It's probably the best Venus flytrap I've ever made. Postscripts. As soon as I got done filming Beetlejuice, Daniela said, you know what, for the record, I think I made that. And that's true. It was at the interim greenhouse, and she's the one that actually crossed those two together. So technically, this is the best Venus flytrap that Daniela ever made. In my spare time, one of the things that I've been working on infrastructure-wise is getting more and more of these baker's racks built and new lights put in on here. We just got them zip-tied in there, which again, perfect, good. This is good, and it's totally working. And what's that is allowing us to get all of our TC pings immediately under lights. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not, but our ping quality has gone way up. I've been pulling and packing a lot of the pings still, mostly pulling them, but sometimes packing them. And I have to say, lots of the pings that we're sending out are big like this, although we don't do ping sizing. You may have noticed that as well. We have no sizing on pings. It's a very first come, first serve thing. So if you're the first one to order and there's one that big in the corner, I'll send that one for sure. We guarantee like a certain size, which will probably be something like that. It's definitely going to be at least that big, but sometimes it's much bigger. And I've noticed that our pings are really looking more colorful, bigger, better, healthier. During the whole transition and the move, I have to admit, you know, it was really hard to keep the exact same quality as everything was transitioning. But now they're really settling in. We have these beautiful Westers here, Ignata by Potassiensis. You see how pink these leaves are under lights? If you get your pings under even a nice LED light like this, they'll be super pink. We have nice big Cyclosectas up here. I don't know if short Daniela can show you, but we have nice big Cyclosectas that are going out now. It's an excellent time to order Cyclosectas. And I know you're all super stressed out. It's such a weird, stressful time in the world right now, in particular our country. And so I think we're all looking for ways to self-soothe, and I've seen that in our orders. There's lots of people still ordering plants and trying to make themselves feel better about all the transition that our country's in. And what's nice about some of these pings is they're very cheap. It's very easy to order yourself a really cute Wester, and because we have a lot of them, they're very affordable, and they're also very easy to grow. And so if you're having a hard time today, hop on our webpage and we'll mail you a beautiful little pink Wester that you can nurture and focus on for a little bit instead of doom scrolling through our horrible news. I just wanted to creep on back over to my cactus section for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we were talking about this horse crippler cactus, and everyone else saw all the other weird things around it and started asking all kinds of questions. One of them was, is that peyote? And the answer is no. The entire genus is illegal here in California, and so we definitely wouldn't be so cavalier to have like, oh, and here's my peyote buttons. These are actually Frailea castanea. They're another cute little spineless button cactus. We also got a lot of comments about please repot those poor things, which we do need to do. That one's literally hanging upside down. They split the pot like this. They were like, you know what? We're growing anyways, and we're splitting this pot. And so we will repot them. I'll probably sell a few of them. But these can get really purple when they're happy and healthy. And then what are these weird knobby things stuck on top of cactuses? That's so weird. More cactuses. So you can graft cacti. You can graft fruit trees, roses, lots of things. But you can also graft a cacti. So this is a columnar cactus that someone has chopped the top off of. And then if you stick an Areocarpus cactus like this on top, if you do it just right, it'll connect the vascular tissue and grow like this for a very long time. And what's cool about that trick is these Areocarpus are a slow-growing, top-rooted cactus that take forever. This is probably like a 15-year-old, maybe older Areocarpus fissuratus. Very slow. But these, this could happen in a few years on a graft like this. And so that's why people do it. These are really super special ones that mostly people don't have. These are fissuratus Godzillas. Very desirable, especially in Asia. Things like that sell for many thousands of dollars. That's not what I paid for them. This is a retusis cross, again, with this amazing kind of cauliflowering, they call that. This is a Cachabeanus by Fissuratus Godzilla, so it's got that compact form, but the kind of texturing. This is for all the cactus heads in the house, which I'm a secret cactus head. Shh. Anyways, that's mostly what's going on over here. Let's go check out the Biblas. So here I am in my Biblas patch. I've been saying Biblas, technically it's Biblas, that's all good, let's all calm down about it. Peter used to say Biblas, and so that's why I've been saying that, but honestly it probably is Biblas. Anyways, here I am in the Biblas, beautiful by any other name. And these are all the annual species. They're getting so big and bushy, and we had a tough time shipping them anyways, and so I've kind of called it, we're gonna keep what we have here and just make a mountain of seeds. And then, assuming everything goes well and we have the time to do it, I'm hoping by next year just to sell seed packs, and we'll tell you guys how to grow them yourself. Because honestly, I think that'll be easier and more satisfying and more fun than for us trying to ship them and you guys trying to, carefully unpack them. Because when they get really, the problem mostly was, honestly, is there's such amazing big plants just sitting there. Look at that, it's so big. But then when you pick it up, you can really see that there's just the tiniest union to the soil. And because of that, they're just flumping their whole way. I don't even want to flump it anymore. Flumping their whole way to you guys, and then they're getting really kind of bent and broken. And so we had kind of a tough time. Some of you did get great Biblas in the mail, but we're having a tough time. So we're pivoting to the beautiful Biblas gigantea. That's a perennial species. They're much more solid. They're bigger. They're easier to ship. We've already shipped out 10 just to see how it will go this time. So if you're bummed out about the annual species, I would push all of your energy into these amazing perennial ones. They'll have equally big, giant, beautiful flowers, and they will live for years as opposed to these, which only really have a few months left of life in them. Isn't that hard to believe? They're so beautiful, but in a few months, they'll totally die back. But in the meantime, we're going to make a huge amount of seeds for you. I've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again because it's just looking so beautiful right now. But, the carnivorous plant rabbit hole has now branched off to numerous other things. And now I love all plants. And I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. Once you see how amazing and fascinating carnivorous plants are, I think it opens up people's eyes so they can really see other plants and see how amazing they are too. And everything to me, if it's green or purple, I see beauty in, I see the amazing, just technical feat of plants doing everything they do in one spot, getting all of their energy from the sun without harming anything, while simultaneously affecting our climate, giving us air, sequestering carbon, and just reinforcing the entire cycle that makes our earth live and breathe. So one of the things that I love doing is, and Daniela loves doing this too, she has a beautiful, beautiful vegetable garden at home. But one of the things I love doing is growing a fair portion of my own food. And honestly, even if it didn't make food, I just love seeing them grow. I love coming out here and just like crushing the basil and just smelling it on my fingers. It just brings me back to my childhood, brings me back to a million delicious pesto dinners, which we're going to be making pesto with this, and we'll make even more soon. And there's so much variety in things. That's what we've really lost at the grocery store, is now when you go there, there's just usually one thing or 3 different kinds of apples, but there are like 1,000 different figs, 1,000 different apples. This is a new basil variety that I found at Harmony Farm Supply, where we do pop-ups and I used to work. It's got these huge crate leaves. I'm letting mine flower. You can pinch the flowers off, but I kind of lost the battle with these. And I like coming out here and seeing all the honeybees going crazy for it, because this garden is also for the honeybees. So this is basil. For those of you guys in the cities who've never grown your own food, this is what basil looks like, and that's what their flowers look like. This is Thai basil here, because I used to live in Southeast Asia, and I love to throw this into curries and fuzz and anything like that. This is a tomatillo. It's related to tomatoes. They have these little papery husks, and then those inflate, and inside is a green tomato forming. And then when it's ready, you'll be totally full in there. And you pull that off, and you can make salsa verde. That's super cool. These are Japanese eggplants. You can see there's one, just the first one just forming up right there. These are super great in stir fries, and I super love that. And speaking of Harmony and pop-ups, we have our next pop-up coming in, was it August 16th?
Yes.
August 16th at the San Francisco Sloats. So for you city dwellers who are watching this and going, what's an eggplant? I don't even know what an eggplant is, but maybe you've never seen the plant before. We'll be there selling plants, answering questions, and just being generally charming and seeing all of you customers that we don't see anymore and miss. One of the things I love about eggplants is how beautiful their flowers are. Isn't that crazy? That beautiful flower is going to be an eggplant. And then I have tomatoes over here. These are sauce tomatoes, San Marzano and Roma. My partner Ethan's a cook, so we're going to make a bunch of tomato sauce with that. Some nice big peppers forming up. Not too many ripe yet, but they're all starting to pop up. These are, over here I've got even more. Come on over. Most of my peppers are in here. These are all Thai ones. I like to pickle these. I'll just slice them up and then pickle them with a little salt, a little vinegar, and you can put that in your ramen. It's so delicious. That was a trick I picked up when I used to live in Indonesia. And this is a pineapple tomato. It's gonna be big, red and yellow, and just a great slicing tomato. And they're looking so beautiful on this sunny day. And when I'm feeling stressed out, I like to come out and look at them, smell the fresh tomato vines, because that's other such a smell that brings me back to my childhood, is the smell of like tomato leaves. And it just calms me and brings me some joy. And then I look up at our big, huge, beautiful weeping willows. The end of our property has these 3 huge weeping willows, which we were a little bit stressed when we got here. The middle one was like half dying because they weren't getting enough water in the summertime. In my last video, we talked about our giant reverse osmosis filter and all the water that it's making. And people were like, where's all that water going? Well, it goes back to our weeping willows here. And that's making them so big and healthy. And it's this beautiful backdrop to the whole property when they're just waving in the wind, because we are a windy spot here. So no matter big or small, I hope you guys are able to carve out some time and some space to create a little oasis of your own that can bring you some calm and some joy in these stressful times. And if not, I hope you enjoy coming and seeing our little oasis here and sharing it with us. Keep watching these videos. We love hearing from you in our comments. If you have suggestions or questions, we love answering those. And keep those orders coming in, because there's nothing we can do. We can't do anything here if you guys don't keep placing those orders. And we thank you for this.